Hola amigos y amigas, you are now with Jocelyn, and this is our weekly energy reading for the week ahead, where we are gaining a deeper understanding and higher conscious awareness of the overall energy for the week ahead and how we can remain in alignment with our higher selves. This is a very special reading because this is my last reading of 2021 that I am channeling and sharing with you. And I'm just so honored to have been receiving and relaying these messages throughout all of 2021, every single week. And as I was preparing for this reading, I was just thanking the Most High, universe, angels, ancestors, loving ancestors, spirit guides, spirit teams, sacred ones, guardians of the four corners, mother in the earth, father in the sky, for really gifting me the energy and the openness and the gifts to have been able to show up, to really conduct these readings and open up my channel every single week, because that's a lot. And so I'm just so grateful to have genuinely been showing up for these readings in a state of being that allots for proper, pure channeling. So in addition to that, this is also a special reading because this coming week we have the new year. We're stepping into the new year, and next weekend, in addition to transitioning into new year, we also have a new moon in Capricorn. So I'm excited to see how that new moon as well as the new year energy shows up in this reading. I already see how it's showing up in this reading. As I mentioned a few videos back, is that, I noticed that as I started preparing for these, for this reading, as I've started preparing for these readings, I've noticed that cards have started to jump out as I was preparing for the reading. And so I felt called to no longer ignore those cards that try to make themselves known as I prep. So that's why I'm already starting with some cards here, but we're going to check in and shuffle to see if there are some more messages for us. These are the messages that are really trying to make themselves known. So without further ado, let's get into this energy reading for the week ahead, where we're tapping into the new year energy, the new moon in Capricorn energy. We also got Venus Retrograde. So a lot going on. Let's get into it. I'm going to go ahead and light my incense per usual. That's our ritual. That's our way of being over here. If you'd like to cleanse yourself, cleanse your space before diving into listening to this reading, go ahead and do that. So what is the overall energy for the week ahead? And by the way, if you celebrate Christmas, I hope you had a beautiful Christmas weekend and you have had a heartwarming, healing, grounding holiday season. I thank you so much for being here, for bringing me into your present moment. What is the overall, okay, my hair is getting in the way. What is the overall energy for the week ahead? Universe, angels, loving ancestors, spirit guides, sacred ones, higher self, guardians of the four corners. Are there any other messages in addition to these that you have already shared with us? Is there another message that you'd like to share for this coming week as we step into the new year, as we experience the new moon in Capricorn? Is there another message? Okay. So, all right. The first two cards that we got is the Lady, to enjoy growth and reap rewards. I'm feeling that, around this time of year, as we step into the new year, and in addition to becoming so fixated on manifesting, we really can be, placing all our focus on what's next, on what we're doing next, on what our goals are, what new habits we want to implement, all of these new. But the energy that's really coming up here is for us to really take note of the growth that we've experienced. Really hold space for that kind of reflection, to look back and take stock of our accomplishments, how far we've come, what we've learned, and really reap the rewards. Like really enjoy the fruits of the labor of all the healing we've done, all the growth that we've experienced. So really allow this coming week to be a week where you're taking time to yourself, to be proud of yourself, to congratulate yourself, to really take a moment to step back and assess everything that you've been through, everything that you've overcome, that you've grown through, and allow yourself to reap the rewards, right? Really enjoy the fruit. Even if you feel like you haven't accomplished something, even if you feel like you're not as far along as you thought you would be, we're being encouraged right now to not be hard on ourselves in that way. To not be hard on ourselves in our reflections of the past and of this year. And also not pressure ourselves to really, again, be so fixated on what we want to manifest and the newness and all the changes that we want to implement. We've gone through so many changes. Let's take a moment to really digest all of those changes. We also got the Earth Guardian to stay rooted and grounded, which is very timely. This is definitely New Moon in Capricorn energy because it's very Earth sign energy, right? It's very earthly energy, and I feel like something that came up for me as I was channeling and tuning into the New Moon in Capricorn, prepping for our journaling prompts that is going to be published later in the week. What really came up for me is like there are, a collective, a group of us who really felt called to turn to Mother Earth in 2021. There is a group of us who really felt called to go to nature, to take more walks, to really, be by the water, cleanse ourselves, ground ourselves. And we are foreseeing what the collective as a whole is going to be sensing for 2022. I'm sensing that 2022 is really a year of Mother Earth energy, of us really tuning into that groundedness that Mother Earth reflects, as well as the cleansing that Mother Earth reflects. It's very just Mother Earth energy. And also you can see that with the colors in these cards, just the green, the abundance, enjoying the fruits. I feel like this is just overall also the overall energy. Did I look scared for a moment? I got a little startled, but those were fireworks, so it's all good, y'all. Okay, let's bring ourselves back. This is also energy I'm sensing just for the overall year. As I was reflecting back on the past few years, I noticed that really the energy that we step into the year with in that first week is kind of the taste of what the energy for the overall year is going to be. And so I really sense that 2022 is going to be a year of us enjoying our growth, reaping the rewards, enjoying the fruits of our labor, and also really focusing on remaining rooted and grounded in our desires, in our needs, in our wellness, in our values, in what we believe in, and all of that good stuff. So we also got the summer card to bask in joy and light. So this is very light-hearted energy that I'm sensing for this coming week. This is, again, not a week for us to be pressuring ourselves, for us to be self-sabotaging, to subscribe to intrusive thinking, overthinking, and just in all be hard on ourselves. We're not on that timeline for this coming week, and especially not bringing that kind of energy into the new year. Really allow yourselves to be in your joy, to really be in your light and acknowledge what that light is. What does that light look like? How is your light unique in this world, and how does it serve as a gift to this world? We also got the Hunter, which is to track down your fears and desires. So I'm sensing here that it's also a time to really get clear on not only our desires, again, because we can be so fixated on what we want to manifest, what goals we want to achieve, all this newness that we often as a society pressure ourselves into as we step into a new year. But it's also us getting clear on what our fears are, right? Because we're still going to be in this process of continuously shedding and letting go, which we've done a lot of in 2021. But I think it's important that we take note of the truth that a lot of what manifesting is, a lot of what us becoming our most authentic selves is us unprogramming, us unlearning, us shedding, what no longer resonates, what doesn't belong to us, the responsibilities that we've made ourselves responsible for that we actually aren't responsible for. Just a lot of these installments and programmings and subscriptions and fears that are instilled within us that we need to acknowledge and continue to let go of, so that we can continue to make space for these manifestations, to receive this new life that we are stepping into. Hopefully all of that made sense. But we're going to continue to see how this reading unfolds. This is a very beautiful week to tune into yourself, to go ahead and lean into the reflections. But when you catch yourself being hard on yourself, when you catch yourself overthinking or burdening yourself with thoughts and emotions that you don't deserve, especially not from you, take a moment to pause and redirect that energy towards you know what, I deserve to be in my joy. I deserve to be proud of myself. I deserve to really take stock of just how much I've grown and really enjoy the fruits of all this growth. Because I know that you have grown. I know that you have evolved and transformed, and your values have changed, your beliefs, all of that has just become so much more clear for you. So if anything, the most important growth that you have obtained is the growth of self-awareness. How much more you've become intimate with yourself, knowing yourself, who you are, what your desires are. And if you feel like you haven't figured out too much of that or gained too much clarity about yourself, you at least have become more willing to gain that clarity, to heal, to transform, to change, to evolve. Okay, should any challenges arise this week amongst the new year and new moon in Capricorn, as we continue to navigate Venus Retrograde, what energy do we tap into should any challenges arise? Should any challenges arise, what energy do we tap into? Are there any other energies or messages that you'd like for us to know this week, in addition to the messages, the cards that you've already gifted us? Are there any other messages, any other energies to align to should any challenges arise? No. And what I'm getting here as I was asking that question is just focus on these two cards, because don't want to overwhelm the collective with the energies to align to when should challenges arise this week. And so the cards that we got are change and courage, which are very powerful words. So we've got change. And what I'm sensing from the imagery of this card, which can seem kind of out of the blue and random, but what's coming up for me is that, you know, we are in a state of transition, right? We're experiencing these new heights, these new levels of perspective, and we are on our way to our new selves, to this new year. This is very like lighthearted, magical energy that we see in this card. And I feel like what we're really being told here is to continue to have the courage to continue changing, to continue reaching these new heights, to continue embarking on our unique journeys and paths, even though, you know, we may not see the full picture, even though we may not know all of what's to come. Continue to really be in the journey with this colorful vibrancy, this colorful energy. Again, tapping into basking in our joy and in our light. So I feel like this is really encouraging us, you know, should any challenges or obstacles arise, this is really an encouragement for us to continue to be courageous in the changes, continue to be courageous in facing the challenges, to continue to be courageous in tracking down our fears and desires, in gaining that clarity that we need to gain in order to continue moving forward, to continue transitioning into this new life. And also, what's coming up for me, so you might not be able to see this, but in this card in the background, there's like some like map, like a map on here, like I don't know if you can see it, but it's also, again, just giving off that energy of like heading in a new direction, continuing to move forward in a new direction, and really having that courage to do so. And also, you know, in the card here, we have like these crashing waters, and water is really bringing up emotions, right? Should emotions arise for you this coming week, continue to have the courage to really feel them, to understand them, to lean into them, to hold space for them, and to allow them to teach you, to allow them to change you. So overall, I feel like if a challenge were to arise, for many, the challenge will be change. The challenge will be experiencing either having to let something go, bring in something new, embark into the unknown. Experiencing a challenge that is going to, a challenge or a situation, an environment and conversation that is going to bring about change. And we're being encouraged to lean into the energy of courage. Lean into the energy of courage. That's the straightforward message that we're getting here, is just be courageous. So should a challenge arise for you this coming week as you step into the new year, as we progress into basking under the new moon in Capricorn, as we continue to experience Venus Retrograde, remind yourself in that moment, you know, how can I be courageous in this moment? How can I be courageous to continue to accept change? Because I know that the changes unfolding in my life naturally are meant to and are intending to further align me to where I'm meant to be, to where I'm meant to transition into. Okay. Whew. What a beautiful reading so far. What do we focus on healing this coming week? What do we focus on healing this coming week? What do we focus on healing as we experience these last days of the year, of such a transformative year? What do we focus on healing? What do we focus on healing? What do we focus on healing? Are there any other messages for us for these last days of 2021? What do we focus on healing? Okay. All right, we've got a few things to focus on healing, all right? So the first two that I want to get into, let me check and see that make sure that this is still recording. Okay, we're good. Just want to make sure because I've experienced some technical difficulties in the past. All right, so the first two that came out as I was prepping for this reading, one is new beginnings, and we also got feminine energy, which ties back to the mother nature kind of energy that I'm sensing is really going to be one of the main energies for 2022, as well as we step into the new year, as well as for this new moon in Capricorn. Really this earthly energy that is tuned into feminine energy. So healing feminine energy. There's so much of what healing feminine energy looks like. And honestly, like the thing about healing masculine and feminine energy is that you need to also heal the counterpart, right? In order to heal our feminine energy, we also have to heal our masculine energy because we have both of them within us. And oftentimes, if we are low on feminine energy and high on masculine energy, or more so, if we are imbalanced in feminine energy, we also have imbalanced masculine energy. If we have toxic masculinity, that means that we need to bring in more femininity in order to help heal that toxic masculinity. If we have toxic femininity, we need to bring in healthy masculine energy to assist in the healing of that feminine energy. They really go together, right? It's the yin and yang, the dualities that exist in all life, and feminine energy and masculine energy really balance each other out in that same way. So it really all depends on, what healing feminine energy looks like for each of us. But a lot of the times, healing feminine energy can look like, really allowing ourselves to feel, not being afraid of our emotions, us really accepting change and not fearing change, us really stepping into our power and coming into the present moment, not being so fixated on the past, not being so fixated on the future, really knowing the power of being in the present moment and trusting that we are most powerful when we are in the present moment, trusting that in being present within our own energy, within our own truths, within our own authenticity, we are attracting what is meant for us. We don't need to go chasing for anything. We don't need to be trying to reel the past back in. We don't need to be so fixated on the future again. We are really being in our power by being in the present, being in our truth. There's, again, so much that goes into healing and balancing masculinity and femininity. I highly recommend that you look into my podcast conversation with Laura Grant because we expand on this. And Laura Grant is an amazing masculine and feminine energy teacher. So I highly recommend you look into her work as well. I'll leave that linked in the description below if you feel called to look more into that. But we're definitely being called to balance our feminine and masculine energy because we also got the masculine energy come up for us in this reading, which is amazing because out of all the cards that could have jumped out, we got both the masculine and feminine energy coming up for us in this reading, which further affirms that, you know, if we have an imbalance in masculinity or femininity, we also have an imbalance in the counterpart. So definitely recommend you look further into that if you feel you're not clear on what balancing those energies looks like and what imbalanced feminine and or masculine energy looks like. In addition, we also got stripping illusions, and I feel like in healing and stripping our illusions, it really looks like, again, tracking down your fears, because most of the time, if not all the time, our fears are rooted in illusions. And so take a moment to ask yourself, you know, what illusions am I subscribing to? What illusions am I believing? What illusions have I felt called to question, to confront, whether they are illusions about yourself, illusions about some assumptions that you've made, illusions about a relationship, illusions about any given situation in your life. Perhaps you have been not really confronting the truth about something because you're afraid of what that truth is going to unfold for you. Perhaps it might bring about some changes that you don't want to happen. But because you're not accepting the truth, because you don't want to look at the truth that you deep down know is there, you are subscribing to an illusion. So, y'all, we're being encouraged to heal the illusions in our lives and get real with ourselves. Again, step into our truths, which is going to assist in the healing of masculine and feminine energy. We also got healing anger. And I feel like this is a specific message to some of you out there in the collective who feel like you have been feeling angry lately, whether you've been angry at yourself for a mistake that you've done, whether you've been angry about your journey because you're not as far along as you thought you would be, or for whatever reason, whether you're angry at another person, whether you're angry, you know, for any, you know, thing that comes up for you, because you know, as we are transitioning into the new year, I feel like our reflections of the past year, especially during these times that we've been experiencing, it's gonna bring up a lot, right? It's gonna bring up a lot of emotions, a lot of the experiences that we've been through. And for some of you, those reflections are gonna bring about anger, right? But we're being, again, called to really embody the hunter energy and track down our fears as well as our desires. But I feel like we need to balance that out because so many of us are so fixated on manifestation and new, and next, that we're not really taking the time to, one, enjoy our growth, really see how far we've come, being proud of ourselves, acknowledging our efforts, enjoying the fruits, reaping the rewards, but also, like, you know, stripping away the illusions, tracking down our fears and where they are rooted from. So, you know, for those of you that resonate with this card coming up, if you have felt angry towards someone or something, practice forgiveness. And also, because we have the bee here, which I find interesting because we also have the bee in this other card. Some of you may have been seeing bees lately. They may have been a sign for you. If you have been seeing bees, may you recognize them as a sign. They're trying to tell you something. They are serving as an omen. If some of you have been resonating with allowing yourselves to bask in the joy and the light, and or have resonated with the anger card to heal your anger, look into the spiritual significance meaning of the bee, okay? But, you know, something to keep in mind is the fact that the bee serves as a beautiful example of the dangers of allowing anger to overcome you, to overpower you. Because when a bee gets really angry and it gets flustered and it allows the anger to overcome it, and it subscribes to the fear of something, and it just stings someone or something, and it ends up dying because it allowed that fear to overcome them. May we learn from the bee in those situations, right? Let us not allow the anger to overpower us so much to the point where we're risking the health of our lives. So yeah. All right. Let's see what we're meant to surrender this week. So I did get into shuffling the deck some more, but my phone did stop recording. I'm glad that I caught it before I went too far into the end of this reading. But we already got the cards for the surrender, which are very beautiful and very much so in alignment with the messages that we've already been receiving. So surrender your fear of change. And again, I find it very interesting that we got not only this reoccurring theme of allowing ourselves to continue to experience change and to have the courage to allow change to continue unfolding in our lives and lead us towards new paths, new experiences, new opportunities. But in both of the cards that emphasize change, we have the horse. So just like the bee, I highly recommend that those of you who resonate with this message of allowing change, of being courageous, to keep allowing change to happen in your lives, to surrender to the fear of change, look into the spiritual significance of the horse, because there are some messages waiting for you there as well. But the universe is reminding you that you are cared for always. Whether you're afraid of a change in your job, your health, or a relationship, or if you fear aging or death, repeat the affirmation, I have faith, all is well. But my friends, it could not get more clear than this, right? That we are meant, this week is really a week of us surrendering to change, allowing change to happen with the faith, right? With divine, healthy, feminine energy, that we can trust change to happen in our lives. We don't need to resist it. We can surrender to the flow, because as we embody our truth, as we embody our pure intentions, our passions, our spirit being led by spirit, we don't have to fear change. We also got surrender resentments. Holding on to resentments only poisons you. Try to forgive others for their shortcomings and keep moving forward towards positive situations in your life. And I feel like that is in direct correlation with the anger card. A lot of you are angry because you are subscribing to resentment towards a person, a situation, towards yourself, towards whatever it is. There's some resentment there. And again, let us be mindful of the energy that we are carrying and bringing into the new year. Holding on to resentments only poisons you. Try to forgive others for their shortcomings and keep moving forward towards positive situations in your life. We also got surrender outdated beliefs about yourself. Let go of limiting ideas about yourself that originate from the past. When you can own your power, and then you can own your power and soar in your life. I'm going to say that again. Let go of limiting ideas about yourself that originate from the past. In other words, let go of the version of you that you are no longer, right? Again, surrender to change. Allow change to happen. Allow yourself to change and become this new person that you've been in the journey of becoming, because I know that you've been sensing it. I know that you've noticed that a lot of these changes that are happening around your life and that are happening within you, right? This healing, this curiosity, this hunger to learn and to grow and to expand and to pivot, to reinvent yourself. That's all leading you towards this new version of yourself. So as this new version of yourself arrives, surrender those outdated beliefs about yourself that no longer are in alignment with this new person that you've become. Then you can own your power and soar in your life. So that's just something to keep in mind, is like, as we transform into a new version of ourselves, not only do we have to let go of who we are no longer, the version of ourselves that we are no longer, but also we have to let go of the outdated beliefs that we no longer resonate with, right? The outdated patterns and thoughts and habits and ways of being and thinking and believing that aren't up to date with this new programming that we are. Because if we're, transitioning into a new person, but we're still holding on to beliefs of the past, we're still holding on to the past in some way, shape, or form, we're not really allowing the wholeness of the transformation to really take place and to really bring us the gifts and the blessings and the abundance that it's trying to gift us. So again, have the courage to allow yourself to change, your life to change. That's really what's coming up for us at this time. We also got surrender to wonder and awe. Open to the magic of every moment and sense the awe and wonder in all of life. This attitude will keep you connected to the ecstasy of flow. So again, it's this energy of being in the flow that's really coming up for us throughout this reading. Because when we are resisting change, we're not being in the flow. When we are holding on to resentment, when we are holding on to anger, when we are attached to the past, to the future, we are not surrendering to the flow. So we're really being encouraged to surrender to the flow this coming week under this new moon, during retrograde, as we transition into the new year, really committing ourselves to surrendering to the flow and allowing that flow, allowing that surrender to bring us wonder and awe of just how miraculous life is unfolding for us. We also got surrender your fear of intimacy. You are ready to let love in, compassionately identify and begin to release any patterns that stop you from opening your heart. So this is definitely directly correlated to Venus Retrograde, where we are being called to have more conversations with our hearts, okay? Being more heart-centered in our decisions and really taking a moment to analyze and assess that aspect of our lives that relate everything that relate everything to do with our heart. I think that makes sense. But some of us in the collective are fearing intimacy, are fearing opening up, are fearing being vulnerable to letting love in however way that shows up for you and reflects for you in your life. Let us affirm as we step into this new year and under this new moon, let us set the intentions that we are surrendering our fear of intimacy, that we are surrendering our fear of letting new love in, and that we are welcoming the love that we deserve. We are welcoming the love that we desire deeply, and that we're open to opening up our hearts to receive that love. Okay? All right, let's look at our affirmations to close out this beautiful reading. And what I love about messages reoccurring throughout the reading and cards correlating and mirroring each other is that it really just affirms me as the reader that these are the messages we're meant to hear, right? These are messages that are really making themselves known to us for this week ahead. And that spirit is here speaking to us, and I'm so honored. Hope you all have been enjoying this reading, have been feeling inspired and motivated and encouraged by it for these last few days of the year as we approach the new year, the new moon. All right, what is what are our affirmations for this week? We already got 2 here that came out as I was prepping for this reading. What are affirmations for this week? Are there any other affirmations, Spirit, that you would like for me to share with the collective? We've got 4 here. Is there one more? Is there one more? I want to hold space for that. Is there another affirmation for us? Is there another affirmation for us? Or is there... Okay, we got one more. Okay. I'm going to read them in the order that they came out. So we've got everything I touch is a success. I now step... Let's affirm that these are affirmations for the end of the year and for the beginning of the year, okay? Let us repeat these affirmations through the week. Everything I touch is a success. I now establish a new awareness of success. I know I can be as successful as I make my mind up to be. I move into the winning circle. Golden opportunities are everywhere for me. Prosperity of every kind is drawn to me. I actually have this affirmation written on a post-it note and up on my desk because I love it so much. We also got, I do not have to earn love. I am lovable because I exist. Others reflect the love I have for myself. This is a Venus retrograde affirmation here. I am worth loving. Yes, 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 yes. I really do sense that 2022 is going to be a year of love, a year of the love that we deserve, especially those who have really been committing to the work. My life works beautifully. Everything in my life works now and forevermore. Yes, yes, yes. I am in the process of positive change. Y'all, how beautiful is this that we are being brought full circle with this message of change by being reminded and affirmed that the changes we're experiencing are positive, even if they may not seem positive, even if they may be tugging at our hearts, even if they got us overthinking and having to lean into the uncertain, into the unknown. We're being affirmed here by Spirit that the changes we're experiencing are positive. I am unfolding in fulfilling ways. Only good can come to me. I now express health, happiness, prosperity, and peace of mind. And lastly, but not leastly, my income is constantly increasing. I begin now today to open myself to ever-increasing prosperity. And when we look at income and prosperity, let us not only think about money, let us also think about love. Let us also think about the opportunities that are meant for us, that assist us in our soul fulfillment. Let us think about joy. Let us think about peace. Yes, 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 yes. My friends, I hope that you enjoyed this reading. I definitely enjoyed receiving and relaying it to you. I am again so honored. This is a beautiful week ahead of us. We got so much guidance here for us to remain in alignment with our higher selves this coming week. As always, I'm going to leave timestamps in the description below so that it's easier for you to navigate through these messages throughout the week. If you want to, refer back to a specific message. But overall, I feel like we really got the point that changes are underway and that we are to allow them to take place with the faith and knowing that they are positive, that we have much to look forward to, that courage is what's going to assist us in surrendering to that change, and that we are to really be mindful of the energy we are stepping into the new year with. And so with this last week of the year and stepping into the new year, let us work on balancing our energies, being mindful of our energies, and more so subscribing to really being proud of ourselves, enjoying our growth, really seeing how far we've come, how much we've grown, how much conscious awareness we've gained, and really reaping the rewards of all that, right? Really allowing ourselves to bask in the joy, bask in our light, enjoy the fruit, right? And be grounded in that energy. Be rooted, be deeply rooted in our truths, be deeply rooted in our faith that all is in divine order, that we are divinely supported, divinely guided, divinely loved. And I really look forward to our next reading, which is going to further unfold more of the energy of the new moon. So I'll see you next weekend with the next reading that will really touch more on the new year, the new moon in Capricorn, and look out for my video this coming week, for my journaling prompts for the new moon in Capricorn. So thank you all so much for bringing me into your present moment. I know that there's so much that was said here, so I hope that it made sense. I hope that you really resonated with some of the messages, and if you did, let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this reading, give it a thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed, click subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my weekly videos. And for those of you who have been tuning into my energy readings all year, throughout the year, thank you so much. I'm so honored to have served as a guide in your journey.